According to YouTube analytics, only a small percentage of those who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you like my videos or like what I'm doing here, please check down below to see if you are subscribed. It is free, and you can always unsubscribe later. Now that being said, today we'll be talking about Tommyinnit, the hero of the Dream SMP, the one that everyone roots for. Today I'm going to be analyzing everything about him as best as I can, and see if we can get a good and better understanding of Tommyinnit, and why he does things the way he does, and what I think of his character as a whole. Now, Tommyinnit is the main character for a few different reasons. He's energetic, he's the underdog, he thinks on emotions and feelings, and not so much about logic, which gets him in a lot of trouble sometimes. Like Wilbur has described in the first war, his passions get in the way of him, and that Tommyinnit actually got L'Manberg back over his passions. But the bow duel fight ended up being a disaster, but it was purely driven by Tommy's passions, and he was willing to give up one of his other passions for his passions. So he has a lot of things he cares about. He lets his emotions kind of control him. He doesn't think much about the logic or what's truly best for a situation, but he just does what's best for his heart. And all of his actions are decided by what he feels like is best to do, and how his heart feels, and the fun that he has while doing so. Now, obviously, Tommyinnit is in no way, shape, or form perfect. He is like the essence of the child. He is the child. And he likes to cause chaos. He likes to have fun. He likes to make things keep interesting, and like I said, he's very passionate. He cares about his friends. He cares about the discs. He cares about L'Manberg. And he's a very passionate guy, and Tommy was right when he said to Tubbo that he wouldn't think of ever exiling him. But that's because Tommy's entire decision-making process is his emotions and his attachment to things, where Tubbo is more logical and laid back, and he's not really that passionate. Like, Wilbur described him as a yes man, and he thinks through things very carefully, and he doesn't let his passions get in the way of him. And Tommy is like the complete opposite. He's very passionate. His emotions come first in any decision, and even if it meant causing war, he was willing to go to war. He'd be willing to fight in a war for Tubbo, and Tubbo's just thinking logically of what's best for the country. Now we're going to be talking a bit about Tommy's mental health. Obviously, I'm referring to his character. I'm not talking about real Tommyinnit's mental health, but I just wanted to highlight a few things. First of all, we all know that Tommy has, as he said himself sometimes, that he has PTSD from many things, like the final control room, the execution of Tubbo. He has PTSD from Logstedshire, and overall he seems like he seems like pretty traumatized a lot by what's happening with him. And I think that's part of the reason why Tommy clings to the disc so much. It's a simpler time. It's a simpler time where he had friends. He got the disc with Tubbo, and it's a good time when the discs have good memories and good associations, and Tommy's desperate for that kind of life back where he could just have his discs and play them, and he clings to them in a way. Like, his discs are his coping mechanism. In Exile and Logstedshire, the discs saved him in a way. When badboyhalo gave him Chirp, that brightened his day up a little bit. And that's where I'm going to be talking about Tommy's suicidal arc on the Dream SMP. So obviously, trigger warning for suicide right here. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about it. So, if you guys don't know, when Tommy was exiled, he became quite depressed and lonely. He lost the pep in his step. His clothes started becoming all ragged. He started to look all ragged, and I want to say my feelings of how he expressed it. If you guys don't know me, I am actually mentally ill in real life. I have depression, I have a trauma disorder, I have DID, and I feel like, in some ways, his portrayal is actually somewhat accurate. Especially, like, the way he referred to often as, you know, he would have moments where he could do more, and he had more energy, he had more spoons. If you guys don't know, spoons is like, you're given like a certain amount of spoons in a day of like actions that you can take, and each action costs 1 spoon or 4 spoons or whatever. So for me, like, taking a shower might cost 4 spoons. And let's say normal people, they get like 100 spoons in a day, and people with mental illnesses or physical illnesses will get like 10 spoons. And we'll have to conserve our spoons in ways. And sometimes, some days we have more spoons than others. Some days we're able to get out of bed and shower and brush our hair and change clothes and all of that. But other days we really can't, or a wreck, and we can't do the things that we like. And I feel like Tommy kind of portrayed the whole spoons thing with his whole pep in my step. Some days he was able to fill up creeper holes. Other days he couldn't. Some days he'd be able to go out and have an adventure, and but then sometimes he'd lose it. He'd lose his spark, and obviously he wasn't doing very well. He felt lonely. He missed his friends. He was depressed. I don't know what to call this depression exactly, but it definitely shows signs that Tommy's mental health isn't perfect, and I think that's another good example of how he clings to the discs. For example, Chirp. I feel like his discs portray his feelings in some way. Like, he said that the Chirp disc felt like death, or a space lady. And, he said that the disc Chirp expressed his emotions. And he said a few days earlier that if he felt like death, and I feel like he was really good. It was the small things, you know. It definitely wasn't perfect. It definitely wasn't perfect by any means necessary. I will say that. Like, there was some things that I feel like were obviously not accurately portrayed exactly. But I still feel like Tommy did an amazing job on his whole depression sad boy arc. I quite liked it. It was actually interesting to see, because obviously it wasn't perfect or anything, but it was really interesting to see, like, mental illness to be discussed on the Dream SMP like that is. And not just the whole, like, oh, we have PTSD thing, which I feel like, I'm not saying it's about Tommy, but I'm saying it's about the characters themselves, all of them. I feel like in some ways they get PTSD, right? You know, like when they get triggered by going into the final control room, or when Tommy saw Technoblade's rocket launcher, he got upset by that, because he's like, oh, you killed Tubbo with this, or how he reacted to Logs to the Shire, and how he had to get out and run away, and I feel like he portrayed that pretty well. But I feel like their world's PTSD feels like a bit 2D almost. I feel like PTSD is definitely way more complex than that, and I feel like they only really show, like, getting triggered by a certain item or a certain person, or, you know what I mean. Or like the podium, like Tubbo got upset by the podium, but I feel like maybe this is something that they can flesh out more, or something, but I definitely like where it's been going, but I just feel like, the mental health stuff should be fleshed out a bit more, if you know what I mean, because in some ways, like, just saying, like, oh yeah, I have PTSD, like, I'm normally, like, at first I was like, what do you guys, like, you can't just say that you have PTSD, but I feel like they're eventually going to lead up to showing more signs of that more, especially, like, where they went with Tommy's depression arc. I feel like they're going to dive more deeper into the characters' mental health and how they're feeling. But anyways, back to Tommy's depression arc. I feel like he said a lot of things that resonated with me in some ways. And it's just like the small things, like when he said, "I'm here for a good time, not for a long time." Like, I know that's something that, when I was suicidal, I'd kind of go by, like, I wasn't planning my death or anything. I was kind of like Tommy, where, it was just, I'm just not planning to be here very long, and I feel like he expressed, like, being cryptic about how you're feeling pretty well, and that scene where, he looked into the lava, I feel like that said a very deep message, and it was such a brief moment, and Dream ended up, like, saying it's not his time to die, and I feel like that scene was really beautiful in a way. I don't know, other people may disagree with me, but I personally feel that way, and then we get to the day where Dream came and blew up Logsteadshire after he discovered Tommy's secret item stash. And about his tower that he built, the big tower that he built up in the sky. My opinions on that are, I feel like it was a really powerful scene. Tommy just went for something horrible. He got his home blown up by Dream. It was the only thing that he had at the time, and he lost everything again. And he was in a desperate moment, and Tommy felt like shit, and after such a big situation happening, which was kind of traumatic to him, he built the bridge up, and he was going to jump off, but then he started having second thoughts, and he just jumped off into the water instead, and I feel like that scene isn't talked about enough. Like, I almost started crying during that scene. Like, it was so iconic in a way. Like, like, I never thought that, you know, Tommyinnit would ever have an arc surrounding depression, or, like, have an arc where he almost kills himself. And I find it interesting afterwards how he stated that it wasn't going to get better yet, and, he seems to still be struggling in some aspects. He seems to be doing a bit better now. He has his pep in his step back. But it seems like he's still having some damages surrounding the whole Logsteadshire thing, and we're going to be talking a bit about Dream's manipulation to Tommy. Now, obviously, Tommy, canonically, he is a child. He's very emotional, and he's been manipulated by Dream, and puppeteered by Dream, and Tommy seems Dream in such an odd way right now. In some ways, he sees Dream as his friend, and but in other ways, he's scared of Dream. He's terrified of Dream, and I feel like Tommy is just portraying being gaslit so well. Like, he's not. I don't know what to call, like, Dream gaslighting him exactly, but it's like he gaslighted himself in some ways, where it's like he'd be like, "But Dream's my friend, and Dream wouldn't hurt me, and Dream was there for me." And I feel like Tommy's portraying his confusion surrounding Dream really well, and what Dream is doing to his brain. Like, he can tell that his brain is being fucked with. And the other day where Tommy stood up to Dream was very powerful, I think. I think he's gonna eventually wake up even more, and he's gonna realize that Dream was manipulating him, and he wasn't his friend. And I think there'll be a whole scene around that. But I really did find that whole thing interesting, and how accurately he portrayed, like, even after being gone from somebody, how fucked up your brain makes it. Because, you know, obviously, I've been through some abusive relationships. I've been through grooming. I'm not gonna get into details with that, but yeah. And it's just when you're in it, you don't realize how fucked you're being. Like, you don't realize how manipulated you are, and you think, like, oh, he does this, but it's okay, like, it's my fault, or shit like that. And Tommy kept apologizing to Dream all the time, when Tommy didn't do anything wrong, especially during the exile period. Like, he did not do anything wrong, and Tommy portrayed, I feel like he portrayed that very well. The whole confusion, the whole, like, what Dream did to him. I feel like it's still showing, and I think he's going to do a lot of healing these past few weeks. I feel like he's going to heal with Technoblade. And I don't know exactly where his character is going to go next. Like I said in another video, I feel like something is going to go down at the festival. And I feel like Tommy is going to go to that and see maybe Tubbo or Quackity killed or something like that. Or maybe Dream himself killed. And I feel like I could see two things happening to his character. The other day, I don't know if you know this, but Technoblade and Tommy went into L'Manberg and they kidnapped Connor Eats Pants and they held him for ransom for Technoblade's weapons back. And they got they got back his trident, I think. Or no, they got back his pickaxe, I think, and his rocket launcher. Yeah, that's what they got back. But they had to take Connor Eats Pants for ransom to get it back. And when Tommy saw Tubbo obviously thought Tommy was dead because he saw the big tower that Tommy built and assumed that Tommy was dead, but he found out then that he wasn't. And then Tommy saw where Tubbo tried to execute Technoblade. And Tommy called Tubbo a monster for trying to execute Technoblade. And got really upset with the idea that Tubbo tried that. And I feel like eventually Tommy is going to join Technoblade in his plans to destroy L'Manberg. I feel like Tommy might actually go and help, and he might kill Tubbo himself. I feel like it might ramp up to that, but at the same time, I feel like Tommy is also going to be oblivious to Technoblade's plan to destroy L'Manberg, and he's not going to think that that's what they're going for here. I feel like Technoblade is going to think... No, not Technoblade, sorry. I'm really bad at speaking. I feel like Tommy is going to stop Technoblade, maybe, or help save L'Manberg, and that's how he gets unexiled. Maybe. I feel like he's not going to be exiled forever. He's going to be allowed back, and maybe Dream himself will even allow him back. For good. And I feel like the final resolution to everything, I feel like Tommy is eventually going to burn his own discs, and let me explain why. Because the discs are the reason there's conflict on the server, and if the discs are still around, there's always going to be conflict. Even if they're in his ender chest, there's still always going to be that danger, and the thing that Dream cares about the most are the discs. He said it himself in his rant about how he does not give a fuck about Spirit. And I feel like Tommy's gonna get the discs back, and as a big power move, he's going to burn them. And that's gonna be really hard for Tommy to do, but I can just see that coming where maybe on the last day of the server, Tommy in front of Dream just burns all the music discs in front of him. I can really see that happening, and then Tommy will be like, you have no power over me anymore, or what are you gonna do now, Dream? Like, that kind of thing. I feel like that's what's ramping up to happen, honestly. I don't see it any other way, really. Now, obviously, I can also see Tommy losing his last life. As we all know, Tommy's down to 1 canon life on the Dream SMP, and I feel like he might lose it to save Tubbo. I feel like Dream might try to kill Tubbo, or Technoblade will try to kill Tubbo, and Tommy will step in and save Tubbo, and Tubbo will get to live instead. But on the other hand, I can also see maybe Tubbo tries to kill him, or something like that. I don't know. Tommy's character is probably one of the most complex characters on the server. He seems really easy to read at first, but really Tommy's really unpredictable because his entire thing is his emotions, and we don't really know where that's going to go, and We don't know if he's gonna take Technocide or stop Technoblade or anything at this point. But I find it really interesting how Tommy is basically Theseus, and maybe Tommy is going to be pushed off the cliff and die like Theseus, or maybe he'll have a different fate than Theseus. We really don't know, so comment down below what you think is going to happen with Tommy's character. I'm not really sure, to be honest, what's going to happen with Tommy's character, because Tommy's a bit of a wild card, and I could see so much happening. And oh, also, I could probably see Tommy stepping in for the egg plot. If you guys don't know, there's a big, massive egg growing around the server, contaminating the server. And it possesses people, like badboyhalo, antfrost, etc. And I feel like this egg is going to be main plot. I mean, badboyhalo said that it was main plot, but the Skeppy infection arc is side plot. And I feel like maybe it'll eventually lead up to where Tommy's the only one left who can stop the egg. I can see that happening. I feel like that's definitely a possibility where Tommy's going to be the one who ends the egg after all. But I'm really not sure, to be honest. So comment down below all the theories you have surrounding Tommy, your evaluation of him, and what you think, especially if you have mental illness, what you think of Tommy's portrayal of it. I like the way he portrayed depression. I like the little subtle hints that he always left, and the pep in a step thing, and I think the PTSD portrayal is a bit 2D, but that might be just because I have really complex PTSD and I have DID, so I don't know. So yeah, comment down below what you think, make sure to like and subscribe, and like I said, I really appreciate comments, and I'd appreciate it if you share these videos, because I really want to hear more about what people think, and I really want to make good content for you guys. So I'll see you guys next time, and Happy New Year's, by the way. Tomorrow's New Year's. Apparently Dream might be doing a face reveal tomorrow, so I don't know. But yeah guys, bye!